Hey everyone, Annie D, AnnieSimpleLife.blogspot.com. I am going to show you today how to make cheesy kale chips in the dehydrator. So let's get started. So what you need, few ingredients here, right? Not too bad, though I've made worse. A bunch or two of kale, and what I've done is I've taken the leaves off of the kale stem. And then this stem, I'm just going to throw it in the compost, but you can juice it or whatever you want to do with it. And then I also have one large red bell pepper that's chopped up, de-seeded. And then I have over here, this is a mixture of two things. I have lemon juice in here. I have, I think it was half of a lemon, so it equaled out to be about 1/4 of a cup of lemon juice. And then I have 1/3 of a cup of apple cider vinegar. Soaked nuts. Now you just need a cup of nuts, so whatever nuts you want to use. I like to use cashews because they blend up really creamy, but I didn't have a full cup of cashews, so I had to kind of improvise and throw in some almonds too, just to bring it up to a full cup. And then I have my spices, so to speak. This is nutritional yeast, also known as nooch to some of you, right? This is a half of a cup of nutritional yeast, and then I have a teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of garlic powder, and 1/4 of a teaspoon of a really hot kind of chipotle chili powder in there. So, all right, so now we're going to blend up these ingredients in my blender with a little bit of water, and we're going to make our cheese sauce. Okay, so pouring in our ingredients here to make the cheese sauce. I'm going to kind of blend a little bit at a time just because this blender can sometimes get things stuck down here. So I poured in my lemon juice and my apple cider vinegar mixture first, just so it has a little bit of liquid, and then putting in the nuts and the pepper first. I'm going to turn this off, it's going to be really loud. Hold on just a second. Okay, so it actually blended up pretty well. I added just about 1/4 of a cup of water out of my little jug there to get it to blend, and then I'm just going to pour in my spices here in the top. I guess I could have taken that lid off, whatever. And okay, we're going to blend a little bit more. Okay, we have a final cheese sauce product here. I'm going to taste it and see if it's got the right amount of spices and everything in there. Let's see. Oh yeah, this is good. I just added maybe a dash more of water, so I think the total amount of water was a cup. No, I'm sorry, 1/4 of a cup, and then about, I don't know, a tablespoon. So just above 1/4 of a cup. So now we're going to take our cheese sauce and we're going to pour it on top of our kale. I don't have a bowl big enough to do the entire thing at one time, so I'm just going to kind of do half in one bowl, half in the other. Now the trick with this is you're going to want to have your kale as dry as possible. So I'm just going to take a clean towel here and mop up some of the water out of it. Squeeze some of it out. And you're actually going to want to massage your kale anyway, so doing this helps soften it up a bit. So I'm just going to kind of dry it a little. I'm going to pour half of my cheese sauce on top. And just about, yeah, that's pretty good. Okay. I like a lot of cheese sauce in my kale chips. Eek. Okay, so now you're going to want to massage the sauce into the kale, and this is where your hands come into play. So really get it well mixed in there, and you try not to flip it out of the bowl. Oh boy. Okay, so really mix it in well, and you really want the sauce to be in these kind of little crevices. I don't know if you it's kind of blurry, but kale's really good about having the sauce kind of hide in different nooks and crannies, so we like that. Alright, so there's half. I'm going to go ahead and do the other half here too in this other bowl. And if you have any leftover cheese sauce, feel free to eat it with a spoon. This is a really good recipe for a dip for vegetables, or chips or whatever. It is a raw food recipe, so this is really healthy for you. I normally eat the leftovers with a spoon because I like it that much. You don't want to really overload your kale with the sauce just because it'll take forever to dehydrate. But, I mean, if you have a long time, then by all means, that's just fine. So, and you want to keep your kale, I forgot to mention this before, you want to keep it kind of big. So these big pieces will shrink up quite a bit. If you have little pieces that come off your kale, that's fine. You don't want them to go to waste, but they'll kind of shrink down to just be tiny. So, okay, now that they're massaged, I forgot to dry this part of the kale. That's okay. We're going to go ahead and put it in the dehydrator. All right, so I'm going to lay these chips out on my Nesco dehydrator. Now, a lot of dehydrators come with something that looks like this. It's got a lot of different holes in it. These holes right here are a little too big for the kale to... Some of the kale pieces will probably fall through. So that's why we put this little guy down, just to kind of help keep our kale where it's supposed to be. And just going to lay it out as flat as possible. Try not to lay them on top of each other. We want them just to kind of lay flat here. Really easy. And these will shrink down too, so I mean about halfway through you'll probably even be able to put them on one tray if that's your thing. See how some of these pieces got pretty small? They're not going to be as good as our larger pieces, but you know, whatever, they'll still be good. Alright, I'm going to lay all these out and I'll be right back. Okay, I have 4 full trays of kale chips on here, so I'm just going to throw the top on my dehydrator. I'm going to set it for 118 degrees, as closely to 118 as I can figure out what that is on here. And we're going to set it for, I think, I've read 8 to 10 hours, but I've only done that on my low setting over in my oven. So we're going to try this, see how we do, and I'll let you know how long it takes once they're done. And we have kale chips. So excited. These guys are so good. These have been dehydrating at between 115 and 110 for 6 hours and 40 minutes. So they are officially done. They're nice and crispy. So you can kind of hear. Can you hear that? Not really. You want them to break, so, and like kind of crumble a little bit, and that's how you know they're done. So this has been Annie D, AnnieSimpleLife.blogspot.com. Go make yourself some kale chips because these guys are awesome. Talk to you guys later.